We've already shown how we like to set up the 3-4 over sting pinch to get pressure from the right inside linebacker. Now we want to take a look at the zone version of this particular defense, and this one's called sting pinch zone. And this one's going to get the exact same pressure as the sting pinch. The only difference is, obviously, this one's a zone defense, whereas the other one is a man defense. So let's go ahead and take a look at the default pass coverages and pass rush assignments. On this one, you can see it's kind of a two-deep coverage where you have the two corners playing two deep. So you have the right cornerback playing on this area here, at least dropping back, and then you also have the left cornerback dropping back here. So they play two deep. Now, the problem with this defense is you can honestly tell that if your opponent was to come out and send 4 receivers on vertical routes, or even 3 for that matter, you're probably going to get burned unless your linebacker, in this case the right inside linebacker, gets home really, really quick. And that's the whole key to this particular defense. If you're going to run this one, you better hope he gets there, because if they end up sending 3 or 4 defenders deep, you're probably going to get burned bad with this one. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's go and look at the rest of the coverages, and you're going to have a couple guys playing hook zones as well. So you're going to have this guy right here, which is the free safety playing hook zone in this area here. You're going to have the strong safety playing the hook zone in that area there. And then finally, you're going to have this guy right here, which is the left inside linebacker playing hook zone over the short middle of the field. So you have those 3 defenders playing hook zones. And then we're going to have 6 defenders that are going to rush the quarterback. And anytime you got 6 defenders coming after the quarterback, you're probably going to get some pressure. But as I said before, it kind of takes away from your coverages. And this is what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to improve on the coverages by dropping another defender into pass coverage, but yet still get the pressure. So let's go ahead and continue on with this. You can look on your screen, as I mentioned, we have these 6 defenders that are going to rush the quarterback. And for us to get that pressure from the right inside linebacker, we're going to go ahead and do the exact same setup that we did for the sting pinch, and that's to go ahead and crash the defensive line to the left. And then we want to go ahead and take control of the right outside linebacker, and we're going to go ahead and put him in QB contain, such as what you see on your screen. This is what that blitz looks like once we make those 2 pre-snap adjustments before the ball is snapped. And as you can see right there, nothing's changed as far as with the coverages. We still have those 5 defenders playing zone coverage. The only thing that really changed as far as the coverages is concerned is going to end up being this guy right here, which is that right outside linebacker, as I've already mentioned, is that we're actually going to drop him back into pass coverage. So let's go ahead and continue on with this. And what we need to do is we need to go ahead and take control of the right outside linebacker before the snap. So let's go ahead and pretend like we're taking control of him, such as you see on your screen there. It's kind of indicated with the arrow there. And what I'm going to do here with him is I'm going to go ahead and rush him out into this area here. I want to allow him to go a little bit out in this area here. It's the same as before. This left tackle is going to look to go ahead and block him, so he's going to go out to the outside. And once he does this, then it alters the rest of the way this offensive line blocks. So what's going to end up happening here is all these other offensive linemen are going to go ahead and block differently than if I were not to do this with the right outside linebacker. So that's the idea of this. As far as with this setup, I want to make sure that I'm able to go ahead and get these guys to block different. Now, if you were to let the right outside linebacker blitz as is, because you remember he's already blitzing, and you wanted to control somebody else, you're still going to get these guys to block differently. They're going to block the way that we want them to allow us to get pressure. The only difference is we can't drop the right outside linebacker back into pass coverage, and that's the reason I want to be in control of him. I want to be able to drop him back into pass coverage. And now what's going to end up happening with this particular defense, with this particular setup, is this guy right here, which is going to be this right inside linebacker, is going to go ahead and shoot through the A-gap between the right guard and center. And so you're going to see something like this where he comes up the gut here into this area here, and then as the quarterback is dropping back, so you're going to have this quarterback dropping back, he's going to probably end up being sacked somewhere in this area here. And he's going to be sacked pretty quick. And that's the idea of this setup, is to get quick pressure. And to be honest with you, if you're going to run this one, you probably want to put your best right inside linebacker or your fastest linebacker in at the right inside linebacker spot. I can remember a few years ago when I used to run this defense, and I got lots of sacks. And this year I still get it, but I don't run it as much because I don't run the 3-4 playbook all that much. But when I do, this is one of those blitzes I'll run, and when I do it, I'll make sure that I have a fast linebacker at the right inside linebacker. So just keep that in mind. All right, with this particular setup, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and have you guys concentrate on this guy right here and then this guy right here. It's the same as before as far as with the sting pinch. Those are the 2 main ones. And then we'll just go ahead and run and take a look at it, and then you'll see how this blitz would work. And it'd be something that certainly something that you might consider running as far as the setup. And you can see right there he comes up the gut and applies the pressure. Let's go ahead and run it again here and zoom in on it. And it's the same as before. Now with this particular setup in the coverages here, you can see on your screen as you look at it, there is nobody playing the deep middle of the field. We have nobody over here, and that's what I said before. If they were to run 3 verticals or 4 verticals type concepts, there's a chance that you're going to get burnt, especially down in this area here. But as is, because the pressure's coming so quick, and if you look, you can see that this linebacker right here is in pretty good position to cover the tight end, and then this guy as well. So the tight end's not going to be open for a quick pass, and he may try to throw it there, not going to pick up a whole lot of yards. So by the time that linebacker gets in there and applies that pressure, chances are he's not going to find him open or ain't going to find anybody open deep. Now, the only disadvantage of this defense is that possibly your opponent could throw out here to the flat here and complete it out here, which is going to be to the running back out here. If he was to try to throw it to the fullback, well, then this guy right here is going to be in coverage. Now, speaking of the fullback, let's go back and rewind this and run this one more time. I want to just talk a little bit more about it. Actually, we won't run it, but I want to talk about something here with this particular setup. If the running back is to stay in the pass block in this area here, I think you guys get the idea what's going to end up happening. He's going to block that linebacker, and then the pressure's not going to be there, and you might get burned. And that's the downside of it. Remember, I'm showing 5 receivers going out. Now, I will tell you, there's something that you can do to help out with this one. If you see that that fullback does not go out and he stays in the pass block, or even the running back for that matter, maybe just the fullback goes out and the running back stays in, whoever stays in the pass block, you see one of those guys stay in the pass block, this is the advantage of running this defense as far as being in control of the right outside linebacker. This is something that they call green dog, and this is what I want to talk about a little bit here, so let's going to talk about it a little bit. When you hear the word green dog, this guy right here will be our green dog defender. Let's pretend like he is. And what he's doing is he's looking in the backfield, and he's looking. Does this guy go out? Does he go out? Remember, we're going to allow him to go ahead and rush to the outside. Remember, he's in QB contained, so we're going to allow him to go out here. Now, as I'm looking back in here, and all of a sudden I see that this fullback's staying in the pass block, well, guess what? There is no need for me to drop back in this coverage here. I don't need to go ahead and allow him to drop back in this area here. Instead, what I need to do is go after the quarterback. And what I can try to do is I can go out to the outside, because if you don't, there's a good chance that this left tackle is still going to pick you up. But if you can get it way out to the outside here and get around him, then you can come after the quarterback and still apply that pressure from the outside out here. Now, that your opponent may stay in the pocket, which is going to make it more difficult. But if you're able to get around to the outside here and come after him, there's a chance that you're going to get that pressure on the quarterback from the outside. So the left tackle is still going to look to block you, but you can work around to the outside and get pressure on him. That's what I really wanted to talk about here with this particular setup. So you can definitely get pressure with it, even if the fullback stays in the pass block. It just may have to come from the outside, and it may not always be there, and may not still get the pressure as quick as you want, but at least you can have an opportunity. So that's what green dog is. What green dog basically means is that the linebacker that's supposed to be covering a defender, in this case he's really not covering him since he's in zone coverage, or he's actually in QB contain. But because the linebacker is really, it can either drop back or he can rush, and then if you see the one of the backs stay in the pass block, then what you can do is you can rush that linebacker and not affect the blitz all that much. So that's what I wanted to point out with this one. I will tell you this, there's some other things you can do with this particular setup, and I'll show one maybe next week or the week after, that's going to bring some real intense pressure. Matter of fact, it's going to bring double inside pressure. The problem with it is there's some coverage, there's some lack of coverages, but maybe it's one of those defenses that you might want to throw in from time to time, especially in a situation where it calls for it. So this one is called 3-4 over sting pinch zone, looking to bring pressure from the right inside linebacker.